Good morning and welcome to America's Home Cooking. I'm making mushroom scones. I've already chopped up a small onion and I chopped up about 4 mushrooms. They're the white mushrooms. And what I'm going to do is saute them. Excuse me. I've been cooking this morning. And I have to sit there and taste stuff. So sometimes it gets in my throat. Okay, so we need 2 tablespoons of butter and a frying pan. We're going to heat it up. We're going to saute the mushrooms and onions. Oh my goodness, that went down the wrong throat. Okay, while that's melting, I have other things going. I didn't want to repeat a recipe to you, so I didn't bother doing it. We're going to need a large bowl. We're waiting for that to do what it has to do. And we are going to be adding 2 cups of flour, all-purpose flour. And have I gotten everything out? No, I haven't, because I keep washing and doing it. Trying to get everything done this morning, so I do apologize. We're going to need half a cup of yellow cornmeal. I have never tried making this with white cornmeal, so I don't know. I think they want the yellow for the color contrast, but I'm not sure. And they want 1 tablespoon of baking powder. Let me put that teaspoon. And we're going to need 1 tablespoon of sugar. And for salt, we're going to need 1 teaspoon. Black pepper, we're going to need 1 teaspoon of black pepper as well. Put your mushrooms and onions in here. We're going to saute them. much heavy cream. You need a half a cup of heavy cream. Sometimes I use more, but we'll stick to the recipe, but sometimes I have to add more. So have a little extra just in case. And 1 large egg. You're going to add 2 tablespoons of powdered milk and 1 tablespoon of wheat germ. Because we're adding the heavy cream, we don't have to worry the powdered milk. You could put it in there if you want to mix it up, but I'd rather put it with the dry ingredients so it mixes up better. I have to go get some wheat germ. I'll be back. Okay, if you can't get this open, bang it along the edge here on the lid. The counter, it'll pop. It'll release a lot of that pressure because this is done under a machine. So you should be able to. Sometimes you can see it pop before you even get to it. I don't know who they think we are. Oh God. I'm not weak. This ain't working. I don't know what they're doing with these wheat germ jars, but they must have it on high for tight. Listen to the suction on this thing. That's a lot of suction. I can get other jars open, but anyway, you bang it on the edge like that, they'll break free, except for this jar. You don't know how many jars I bang up against the counter just to get them free from that section. We're going to mix that a little bit. If I remember correctly, the butter goes in this first. Yes, I remember. All right. The last 4 tablespoons of butter, you're going to grate her into there. And mix it up thoroughly. And you're going to turn your oven to 425. Call these button mushrooms in the South, but I don't know what they call. They just call them white mushrooms here when you go to the fruit and vegetable stand. I've also made this recipe with the brown, I call them brown button mushrooms, but it's the brown ones that sit next to these. I'll use them as well in this recipe. Both are delicious. There's no problem. And if you want to know what mushrooms have, during World War II, metal and stuff was tight. In other words, unless you can prove it was necessary, you weren't going to get it. This is just how it was. Now, those are done sauteing and stuff, and I'll get back to my story in a minute, and I'll give you some history. All right, we need, they want a teaspoon of chopped fresh thyme or a half a teaspoon of dry thyme. I usually throw a teaspoon in the dry thyme. That's me. Oh, I think everything's going to be difficult to open today. So I'm going to put a teaspoon in, knowing me, dry. Don't I say fresh? I always add dry, a teaspoon of dry, because it's so good. So what happened is that unless you can prove it was necessary, you couldn't can anything because everything was controlled, because everything was going for the war in World War II. So you couldn't can mushrooms. You couldn't buy them. The company would lose money. So they had to prove that mushrooms were nutritious, and they had to be, they had to can them for the people. So what they did is they did research on it, and they found out that mushrooms have trace minerals in them, and that's why you can buy canned mushrooms now. But at that time, not unless you proved that it was nutrition, it was needed, it wasn't going to go for the war, but it did. They could can it because of that one little thing of investigating to make sure that mushrooms had a nutritious value. Because up to that point, nobody knew if mushrooms had nutritional value, so they weren't considered important at the time. See, the way you study history, war history, there's history in clothing, there's history in food, there's history in construction, there's history in everything. And if you know that history, you'd be surprised. I mean, I was really surprised about the mushrooms when I learned that. So I listened to the older people, and I learned a lot from them. So I give you some of the stories. I mean, I have a sewing room, right? If you sew, you end up with a big sewing room. You got the sewing table, you got your mannequin, you got the cutting board, and all. My grandmother, her whole sewing area, that was it. Everything was in that, and she made everything. She sewed by hand. She mended the furniture. She was quite busy. Now my stepmother, because my parents got a divorce, when I went to see her, she would take the curtains off the bathroom or wherever my father didn't like them, he got rid of them, or my aunt would go throw them out. She said, no, give it to me, give it to me. She said, but there's nothing you can do with it. She said, give it to me. She sat there and she made clothes out of all of that. That's what they had to do at that time. So, if you had curtains up on the window, it was considered a very big thing. Isn't that funny how we don't look at it like that? Now, I'm just spooning the butter around, coating it like this. And stir this around. Oh, I love the smell of the mushrooms, the thyme, and the onion. Now you're going to put this in here, and you're going to stir it around. See, it'll start looking like this. Let's see if I can get you over here so you can see. Do this so you don't get lost in it. Oh, I'll put these here and use them. I'm gonna bring you on over here so you can see. Okay. See if I can get you way down here so you can see actually what I'm going to be doing. All right, it's going to look like this. You're mixing this up as much as you can. remember, I told you, you might be adding a little more heavy cream to this, because it has happened with me, so I can say it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and I just sort of have to maneuver with it. Okay. Beat the egg and the heavy cream together. Well, I'm going to get dirty anyway. Pour it in the middle like this. As you can see, I made it well. But yeah, probably going to have to add more heavy cream. I don't know how she manages to get hers with one egg in this. It just never seems to work for me. Well, maybe it will this time. Now you're using the fork. You don't want to handle this yet. You're trying to get it to pick everything up and mix thoroughly. Okay, it's coming together. Very good. I take a cookie sheet out. No, I did not. I'm just going to ball this up like I do my biscuits. I'll show you if you don't believe me. This is exactly what I'm doing. I'm just balling it all up. Don't have to press hard on this. You just have to just roll it and it will pick anything up that's loose. We'll finish picking it up. Now you're going to pat this out into a circle. Let me get this off my hand. Be right back. I remember they want this in an 8-inch circle. Yep. I think that's what they want. Okay. All right, now you can use a serrated knife, which is a bread knife, or you can use a pizza cutter. I love using my pizza cutter. I'll be right back. I'm going to run my pizza cutter into flour. You'll have to do it with your bread just to keep it from sticking. What you're going to do, this is all you're going to be doing to it. just like that. When that oven gets, well, I guess it's at 425. I was going to say, when it gets there, we're going to bake this, if I remember, 12 to 16 minutes. So I'm going to put it in the oven. And that's how you make mushroom scones, and they're really good, by the way. All right, gotta figure the math out. That gives me 3 minutes, just minus 3 from 16, it'll be 13 after. Okay, I'll see you then. Okay, they're done. I'm gonna bring them over so you can see them. I'm not taking them off the cookie sheet because they're too hot. But here they are. Oh dear God, this is hot. Mushroom scones. Once they cool a bit, you can just break them, or if you wish to take the knife back over them, they usually break quite easily off to serve. But this is a serving of 8 of mushroom scones. Take care. Bye-bye.